up, everybody? Welcome to BioS3 Raw TV. So I get emails and messages and people hitting me up, and they're like, well, Layne Norton put this thing, like, for some reason, everybody thinks I have something against Layne Norton. Now, we had like an issue in the past, like we talked it out. Matter of fact, there was one year that I was at the Arnold, I believe it was actually hanging out with Layne and his wife. I have no ill will towards Layne. I don't not like the guy. Matter of fact, you know, after he came out and really spoke public about stuff in his personal life, I had a lot more respect for him for taking personal responsibility, which I feel is like a lost art nowadays, right? So that being said, like, I don't know why people seem like, well, Jerry, we want you to rebut what Layne says, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you know, really, Layne and I don't have this fucking, you know, relationship where I can't wait for him to put something out so I could fucking try to make him look bad. Like, that's not it at all. And this video is not to try to make Layne look bad at all. Like, I don't want people to try to think that, but I do see stuff sometimes, and I'm like, my thing is, you know, I have a different point of view. Layne and I don't agree on a lot of things, right? Doesn't mean I don't like the guy, which means we don't agree on a lot of things, but fuck, me and my wife don't agree on everything. Me and my best friend Henry don't agree on everything. Me and my buddy Bobby don't agree on everything. Nobody has to, I mean, people don't have to agree on everything, you know, to be friends, and just because you don't agree on something doesn't mean that you're fucking enemies. Now, that being said, I do have a different point of view, and I do feel like, there's a lot of stuff in the fitness industry in general, in, you know, the public, that needs to have a different way of looking at things, right? And Layne is very science-based. He loves science. He lives his life by science. I'm interested in the science. I truly am. Like, I listen and I'm like, wow, I'm actually like really fucking taken back by some of the stuff I hear science-wise. But I'm also have been in the gym for 28 years, and I've seen stuff that a science paper says can't happen, but it happens. And I'm sure by now Layne has seen something like that in the gym that he can't really find an explanation science-wise, but he'll start going through things and be like, well, this is happening, so this is what's really happening, because he knows enough about the science that there doesn't even have to be a study. He could probably figure it out. Well, that doesn't mean that it wasn't happening just because there wasn't a study. It means he was able to explain it. So bro science is very much the same way as that. We may not know how it's happening. We just know it's happening. We just don't have the knowledge or the big words to explain how it's happening, but it doesn't mean it's not happening. It doesn't mean that science is not going to grab onto it at some point and explain it, okay? That being said, there was a meta-analysis done, a meta-study, meta-analysis it's called. And what a meta-analysis is when you have all these studies and all this data from all these different studies, and you look at it collectively and come up with basically a conclusion based on everything from those studies about one way or another how it swings, right? And this meta-analysis came out about sweeteners. And, you know, Layne was very, you know, big on pushing, you know, sweeteners are safe, they're this, they're that. Like, he believes what he's being told, right? I don't knock him for it because he's a science guy. He's going to believe what these scientists are telling him. So he, you know, explained that the meta-analysis took, this is what they looked at, this is what they did for the meta-analysis, et cetera, et cetera. And I said, okay, that's pretty cool, but here's the problem that I have with the meta-analysis. You're only going to get a conclusion based on what you looked at. So he said, like, they looked at these specific things, and I was like, what about the actual studies that have been done by PhDs, scientists, doctors at places like Harvard that have said sweeteners are not safe long-term, right? So here's the problem I have. If sweeteners were truly safe, there would be no data out there whatsoever. There would be no myths. There'd be nothing. There would be, it's safe, period. Plain and simple. We know that water is fucking safe. If you drink a fucking thing of water, I mean, well, barring the fact you have some kind of weird shit in it from the faucet or whatever, but water in general, you can drink water and it's safe, right? Unless there's something put in it. Like, we don't have to have a study to tell us that water is safe. So therefore, we just know it. So if sweeteners were truly safe, there would be no contradicting fucking studies. There would be no contradicting data. It would just be safe across the board. But that's not what happens. We have both sides and everything in between saying that these sweeteners can cause issues in some people. Now, what happens is the science people will say, well, yeah, it can happen in some people, but for the general public, well, here's the problem. The general public, in general, have all these different ailments nowadays that they have problems. There's very few totally healthy people out there that you could say this applies to. There's all these different types of things that are happening to them health-wise. So therefore, it isn't the general health. The general public is not healthy. That's just how it is. Medications, hospitalizations, doctor visits. We are more fucked up now health-wise than I think ever before in history. So you can't just say, well, in healthy individuals, what the fuck does that mean? There's very few healthy individuals out there that are fucking sucking this shit down. And a lot of these people that are unhealthy are sucking these fucking sweeteners down in large amounts, much more than fucking studies or healthy people. So you have to really pay attention to who your audience is, what the fuck you're talking about. So I went online and I researched, I went right after the artificial sweeteners thing. And this one was done from, this is a long fucking thing. Where's the other one that I found? This one. So, your body cannot process artificial ingredients well. Some substances such as aspartame and monosodium glutamate, MSG, may trigger immune response. Aspartame is a neurotoxin that the body frequently attacks, therefore causing inflammation. Now, before we get all, crazy and go fucking nuts and stuff with this stuff, Harvard, okay, this is Harvard. It says artificial sweeteners, sugar-free, but what cost, right? They want to know if you're taking these, what could possibly happen. So basically it said, while they're not magic bullets, the sweeteners, smart use of non-nutritive sweeteners could help you reduce added sugars in your diet, therefore lowering the number of calories you eat. Reducing the calories could help you attain and maintain a healthy body weight and therefore lower your risk of heart disease, diabetes, etc. As with everything, there's more to the artificial sweetener story than the effect to weight. To learn more about them, I spoke with Dr. David Ludwig, an obesity and weight loss specialist at Harvard-affiliated Boston Children's Hospital, and he's taken a keen interest in these products that are designed to help people lose weight. The FDA has approved 5 artificial sweeteners. It's saccharin, aspartame, neotame, and sucralose. It's approved 1 natural low-calorie sweetener, stevia. How the human body and brain respond to these sweeteners is very complex. It's not just about reducing calories, which is what I fucking say all the time. It's not just about cutting your fucking calories. It is a response to something you put in your body, hormonally or this way, toxin-wise. So he said, one concern is that people who use artificial sweeteners may replace the lost calories through other sources, possibly offsetting the weight loss with other health benefits. This can happen because we like to fool ourselves. I'm drinking diet soda, so it's okay to have cake. So that's basically like you're tricking yourself. That's one way that people, and that's on the person. That's personal responsibility. It's on the person to know, just because I cut out the sugar there, I shouldn't add it back in. So it's also possible these products change the way food tastes. Now, this is something that I have said for a long time. These sweeteners are way sweeter than sugar. Non-nutritive sweeteners are far more potent than table sugar and high fructose corn syrup. A minuscule amount produces a sweet taste comparable to that of sugar without comparable calories. Overstimulation of sugar receptors from frequent use of these hyper-intense sweeteners limit tolerance to more complex tastes. That means people who routinely use artificial sweeteners start to find less intensely sweet foods such as fruit, less appealing, and unsweetened foods such as vegetables downright unpalatable. So think about this for a second. Now, what they're saying basically is if you're eating these sweeteners, you're just so used to something so sweet that everything else that normally you wouldn't find bland tastes like shit. It tastes bland. You don't want to eat it. I can't tell you how many people now, compared to when I was a kid, don't want to eat vegetables. You can't get them to eat a fucking vegetable to save their life. They will take a fiber supplement, they'll add a multivitamin, they will do anything they can to not eat vegetables of any kind. And I kind of stepped back and I was like, that didn't make any sense because people generally eat healthy. Like, people will forego a salad and have something completely different because they don't want the lettuce and stuff. They'll only have lettuce if they put it on a burger or some shit like that, right? So basically it says, the use of artificial sweeteners can make you shun healthy, filling, and high nutritious foods while consuming more artificially flavored foods with less nutritional value. The sweeteners also play another trick. Research suggests, this is by doctors, so why wasn't this research included in the meta-analysis? Because there is research that shows the opposite of what every study in that meta-analysis Lane talked about to be the opposite. It said, the research suggests that they may prevent us from associating sweetness with caloric intake. As a result, we may crave more sweets, tend to choose sweet food over nutritious food, and gain weight. Participants in the San Antonio Heart Study, right, who drank more than 21 diet drinks per week were twice as likely to become overweight or obese as people who didn't drink diet soda. Let's just, it says non-nutritive sweeteners are safe. Are safe depends on your definition of safe. Studies leading the FDA approval have ruled out cancer risk for the most part. However, those studies were done using far smaller amounts of diet soda than the 24 ounces a day consumed by many people who drink diet soda. We really don't know what effect large amounts of these chemicals will have over many years. These are the scientists saying it. Now here's the problem I have. Some people go, well, Jerry, I only drink one diet soda a day. I do it every day, but one a day. So that's 7 artificial sweetened diet drinks per week. That's 7, right? Now the study had 21. Now what you're also not including is the other stuff that's in your foods. Many people eat different oatmeals that are flavored with sweeteners. They do pre-workouts. They do protein shakes. I know people have 2 shakes a day, and their diet soda. That's 21 fucking sweetened drinks per week. That's what they used in the study. You know, throwing the pre-workouts and other things like aminos on top of it that are fucking completely full of these other sweeteners and shit, you're getting more than what these studies had in them. And these scientists that are out there, the ones that are not pro food company, that are not pro, you know, I don't want to say anti-obesity, but they're not looking at it as we're trying to cut weight, we want a solution to cut weight. They're just really curious as to what effects they have on the body. Now, some of these sweeteners, and this is what really upsets me, you can literally Google, do these sweeteners cause inflammation? And you will find papers, research, actual studies that say they do cause inflammation in some individuals. So what happens is many people that don't want to really believe that they're bad for you will say, some individuals, I'm not some. You're not, but what about the person watching this video right now? What if you are one of those people? My wife is one of those people. And the way that we figured it out, this is what really got me on the, let me look into more about these sweeteners. You know, last time I was, you know, I got delved into something was the branched chain amino acid thing, because my ex-girlfriend was flavoring her water with it and it kicked her out of keto. We couldn't figure out what was happening. So I had to research to find out what was going on with her. Once I found out the branched chain amino acids, look at what happened over time now. Now, all the companies are not making, well, some of them are making them, but they're starting to make essential amino acids, and more information is coming out telling you not to use branched chains, to use essential. Time seems to catch up to the things that I'm saying. And although it hasn't caught up with sweeteners yet, it will. Now, again, just like my ex-girlfriend Carrie that I had to research about keto and branched chains, when my wife Erin and I were in Mexico, I was watching her put these sweeteners in her tea. She likes sweet tea. And instead of drinking sugar, she's controlling her diet. She put the sweeteners in there, and I was like, well, you know, she has a sweetener pretty much every time she has, you know, this this tea, right? This unsweetened tea. She puts a sweetener in there, just one little packet, and done. And I kind of thought about it. I said, okay, so today she's had like 4 or 5 sweet teas with these little packets in there, which, you know, think of, you know, if you think about the study, there was 3 a day, 3 of these diet sodas a day. It was 21 drinks a week. And she said, you know, I feel puffy, I feel this. Like we were talking about, and she's, I don't know where all of a sudden, because my wife is super consistent with her diet. Every day is the same exact foods. Every day is the same exact drinks. Every day is the same routine. That's how she is, exactly like me. So when you change something, one thing, you notice the difference right away. Now, Lane, unlike my wife and I, like to do the IFOM. So he's changing things every day constantly. So if something happens to his body, he doesn't know whether it was the foods he took in today, sweeteners, he has no idea because things are not consistent. Although the calories and macros are consistent, the foods aren't. So people that are not consistent don't see the changes in their bodies like the people that are consistent with the same foods. So as my wife was talking about being bloated, etc., I kind of was looking at her diet, I said, you eat these foods all the time, you know, when did this start? And when it started was, she started drinking sweet tea more often instead of water. And the sweeteners in the sweet tea were the only thing that I could think of. So I said, you know what? I watched you put the sweeteners in Mexico in your tea. Excuse me. Take them out. Don't drink the tea anymore. Drink water or just drink plain non-sweetened tea. So the first week she did it, she dropped 7 pounds, excuse me. Her face started to come down. The bloat came out of her face. The water retention came out of her body. She peed like crazy. And I was like, okay, that's probably what it was. But to be sure, let's stay off it for a week. Now let's add the sweeteners back in again. The puffiness came back on. The weight went up on the scale. Nothing different. Workouts were the same. Food. She eats the same exact foods in the same exact portions every single day. And it's only because she likes that. She likes the routine of it. She likes to be able to control her body whenever easily, rather than going, oh, I've been doing all this fucking crazy stuff in MyFitnessPal. I need to figure. No, if she wants to cut a little bit of carbs, you know, her diet's consistent all the time. Take a little bit of the rice out there. Do a 1/4 cup instead of a 1/2 cup. She's automatically cycling her carbs. So consistency is the key, making your body predictable. So that's what we do. So after the week of putting the sweeteners back in, take them back out again. The water weight and everything came back off again. So, okay, one more time, put them back in. Boom, here comes the water weight, here comes the inflammation. So her body has an inflammatory response to it. Now, the problem that I have is most of you out there right now are not following something regimented, very consistent. You are kind of all over the place, even if your calories and macros are consistent. So you have no idea what the fuck's happening to your body at all. If you went to the doctor right now and had inflammatory markers checked, and they were all over the place and they were high and they were showing that you had inflammation in your body, you wouldn't know where to begin. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. Why we're so meticulous about everything is because I want to know how to control things. And if something goes wrong, I need to know the variables. Doing IIF, WAM, changing the variables every fucking day because you don't want to do the same things makes it harder for you to control what's going on in your body. Not just the way it looks, but inflammation and health-wise. So you guys understand, hopefully, what I'm trying to get at is the meta-analysis study that Elaine is citing didn't have those studies in it that have proven that sweeteners may not be safe long-term. The thing is, the scientists don't know because there's never been anything long enough done in high enough amounts in humans to say they're safe. So to say that they're on the market and they're safe would be a lie. They don't know. It could be like there's been no, maybe a disclaimer says there's been no definitive answer long-term what these may or may not do to your body, right? They don't put that on there because they're going to scare people off from fucking using this shit. But it doesn't change the fact that, you can't say, well, these doctors over here said that they're fine and they're doctors and they're PhDs, but this PhD is an asshole and he doesn't fucking count. He's still a PhD, right? And it's not just one. There are multiple fucking scientists, multiple doctors that are saying sweeteners are not safe. There are nutrition experts that are working with people that, they may not be a study, but they see it over and over again coming in their office, these fucking things happening. They start adjusting and pulling the sweeteners and they see the people's bodies changing and their health markers changing. You can't say, because some scientists didn't fucking totally say, these are absolutely fucking bad for you, right? These are gonna fucking kill you. Nobody came out and said that blanket statement. You can't say it's not true. You can't say the sweeteners are safe. The difference is, the deal is, everybody out there is different. Everybody's bodies are different. They have shown gene expression changing from the sweeteners. They have seen that their bodies actually change how they fucking respond hormone-wise, food-wise, all kinds of different things based on how sweeteners affect them. And it may not affect you this way, but it may. But the bottom line is, everybody's out there, oh, I need an analysis of this. I need a fucking study of that. Oh, science says this, science says that. Science also said that egg yolks are fucking bad for you, okay? No egg yolks. They're fucking causing heart disease. And then it was, first it was no eggs. No eggs. Eggs are bad for you. Get rid of the eggs. And then it became egg whites are okay. And there was a study saying, well, if you remove the yolk, your cholesterol goes down, da-da-da-da-da. Then what happened is over fucking like 10 years, people were removing the yolks. Guess what? Their fucking cholesterol didn't go down. You know why? Because it wasn't the fucking egg. That was a mistake. The egg wasn't the thing causing the high cholesterol. Whether it was genetic conditions or other foods, it wasn't the fucking egg. So all of a sudden, 2018, whatever it was, now you can eat the egg yolks. You can eat the whole egg. Eggs are good for you. This. We have flip-flopped back and forth. But if you were going by these science guys, they would have told you, no eggs at all. And then they were like, well, new study says egg whites are okay. Well, new study says fish oils, all the fucking shit out there in fish oils. They just came out with a new study saying fish oils don't do shit. It helps zero with blood pressure. Zero. It doesn't do anything with inflammation or blood pressure. CLA, fucking studies out there say CLA can make you leaner. I haven't met one person in 27 years that took CLA, exercised and dieted, and got any better results than if they didn't take it, exercise and dieted. Not one in the fucking entire span of 27 years. Not one. But there are studies out there that these companies can push over and over again saying CLA works great for fat loss. Not one person in the fucking real world has seen that. There were things talking about lowering sodium. Sodium, cut your sodium for blood pressure. I heard it all as a teenager. I heard it all in my 20s. Oh, I gotta cut your sodium for blood pressure. Now they come out with a study saying, do not cut your sodium because sodium is an essential mineral. Without it, you have problems with muscle cramping. You could have heart cramps because your potassium-sodium balance is off. Now they want you to put the sodium back in the diet, but control it and make sure it's balanced. That's not what they were saying. They were telling you to cut all sodium out because that was causing high blood pressure. But now what happens is these people cut the sodium out and their blood pressure stays high. They have to go on medication anyways. And they're taking medication for the blood pressure that flushes sodium out too. It's potassium sparing, but it flushes water and sodium out to try to lower blood pressure. And that's the only way it's lowering is from the water, not the fucking sodium. So they're like, fuck, now we need to put the sodium back in. New studies say, eat the sodium. So to sit back and I just don't like blanket statements across the board that any of these science guys like Lane, and again, nothing against Lane, that they put it out there, just general thing, because Lane truly believes in his heart of hearts, every scientific study that comes out there is completely legit and there's no fucking way they could be wrong, even when studies come back and flip-flop and say the opposite a year from now. So it blows my fucking mind that anybody can sit around and say, I'm going to wait for fucking science. And if you look, you can find a science study or whatever that fits your agenda. Some people could say, I found one to fit my agenda here with the sweeteners. Some people could say, Lane found one to fit his agenda. My thing is, do all the research yourself. Look at all the different things. And if you got stuff all across the board, you say, fuck, I'm taking these sweeteners. When I get blood work done, I'm going to have them check the inflammatory markers and stuff to see what's going on. And I'm going to cut out only sweeteners. I'm going to have no sweeteners for 3 to 6 months. I'm going to cut them out. No sweeteners, zero sweeteners. And then you go back to the doctor and your blood work is better. And you didn't change exercise. You didn't change calories. You didn't change macros. You only pull the sweeteners out. And you all of a sudden feel better. Your face is not puffy. Your hands are not puffy. You have more energy. And at the same time, those inflammatory markers in your blood work went down. Put them back in again. Go back to the doctor in 6 months. This is the only way you're going to find out. By you listening to me or Lane or whatever trying to tell you what to do, you're trying to find a shortcut to your own health and your own results. That's not going to happen. We don't know who you are, how your body works. If you have any predetermined illnesses or anything like that, you may not even know whether or not you have them. There may be genetic stuff wrong with you that's not handed down from your parents. Some fucking gene mutated and you have no idea what the fuck's going on, but you're taking sweeteners that are affecting you a certain way. You have to be your own science experiment. Your life, your body, your physique, your health is your responsibility, not mine, not Lane's, not the PhD's. So you can come to us for advice. And my thing is always, don't listen to us, the talking heads in the box. Don't listen to the talking heads. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to Lane. Listen to what Lane has to say. Listen to what I have to say. Go do your own research. And use a little bit of logic and what you feel from your heart and decide, hey, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to drink these sweeteners. I don't give a shit. Fuck them, right? I don't even give a shit. Do it. You may watch, you may watch this video, watch Lane's video, you do the research and read the different studies and stuff and say, there's just not enough information to say it's safe. So I'm not going to give them to my kids because I just don't know. That may be a way to go. You may say, I'm not going to put them in my body because I want to be as healthy as I can. I'm not really sure what the fuck's going on. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I fucking try to sleep enough. I exercise. I do yoga. I do all these things to try to make myself better. And this one thing, there's just not enough information one way or the other. So it's better to stay away from it. That may be the course you take. But the bottom line is, guys, I want you to think. I don't want you just to rely on what you're hearing on YouTube, seeing on YouTube, reading on Instagram. I don't want you just to rely on the influencers like myself, Lane, or any of them. I want you to be your own person. I want you to do your own thinking. I want you to stop and think and say, logically, there are studies on both sides. So no matter what Lane says, they cannot be totally safe because we're seeing this. However, no matter what these people are saying, they can't be totally bad because some people are okay and we have this that says that. So where do I fall in that? That's for you to decide, not us. But the information is out there, and unless you have a definitive answer that there are no studies that say it's bad, not a single one, not a single outlier, nothing, and it only says this is fine, like water. You can drink water and not die unless it's poison. But unless you have something that is that definitive, it is no definite answer. There just isn't, period. You get this all the time with training. What's the best way to train? There is no best way to train. There hasn't been a single fucking study that says this. You got studies go all across the board. But the problem is, so many of you are paralyzed. It's paralysis by analysis. I talked about this with Gary Udit today. You guys are so paralyzed by the fact that there's so much information out there. Whereas back in the day, before you had the internet, if you felt puffy and shit and you're like, wow, I've been actually drinking a lot of sweetener, maybe I should cut that out. You automatically know to do it because you're not listening to us. You're actually paying more attention to your body yourself, and you're doing your own work on yourself because you had to. You didn't have somebody to point you in the right direction. Unfortunately, the internet went from pointing someone in the right direction to pointing somebody in every direction, which confuses the fuck out of them. So then they just pick whatever they want. They like the sweetener, so they're going to just go with that. What if it fucks you up? This one said it couldn't happen. What if it does? What do you do then? You deal with it. What if it harms you? What if you wind up in the hospital? What if you wind up coming up with some man-made disease because of them? What happens then? Are you going to be in denial? Probably. Oh, it's not the sweeteners. It's not the sweeteners. Meanwhile, there's 500 studies saying the sweeteners does exactly that to people. But in your head, because you're so emotionally attached to sweeteners, and it's so romantic that you can have these sweeteners anytime you want, you still feel good, and you're happy about it, and it ruins your health. Just don't become attached to food. Don't become attached to sweeteners. Don't become attached to certain ways of training. Don't become attached to certain ways of cardio. Don't become attached to certain things that could go one way or the other, and you don't know how it affects you truly because you're not paying attention to what the fuck's going on with you. You're paying more attention to what the fuck is going on with us, and that is the wrong way to do this shit. BioStreetTraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. BioStreetTraining.com is a blog. It's to do your own research, bicep, please. And we are out.